What's going on, everybody? Doc and Sloth, we're back doing some Rocket League doubles, and we're going to talk about Season 4 World Championships of RLCS that kicked off this past weekend and is finished up now. We have a Season 4 World Champion team crowned, and hopefully you guys got to watch at least some of it, but it was a great weekend. Really a great weekend of double painted fan rewards and me missing these balls and Rocket League action, to be honest with you. So we're going to cover real quickly just up front, if you didn't get a chance to watch, how it broke down, and then really just kind of talk about what we thought about the teams, what we thought about the matches, and everything like that. So taking first, Gale Force Esports, your number one European team. They proved to hold on to that number one ranking and do well with it. They came in first and really played very solid throughout the entire tournament, obviously. Didn't have too much trouble with a lot of stuff. Method took a close second, actually, which was kind of interesting to see, and we'll talk about here shortly. And then Cloud9, much to my chagrin, took third place, although a pretty decent performance overall. Oh my gosh. And then G2 Esports actually wrapped up with fourth. PSG took fifth, Ghost Gaming sixth, Mockit 7th, Chiefs Esports, interestingly enough, took 8th place, and then Pale Horse Esports took 9th, and at lowly 10th, we have NRG. And I know you're a little upset.
It hurts me. It hurts me.
You're a little upset about that one.
It hurts me really hard. It hurts me as much as not getting a single painted item on double painted rewards weekend after watching the whole thing.
Yes.
But you know what? I will take some fantastic Rocket League as a consolation prize. I was super happy with the way North America played. We actually had two of the top four in North America show up. Very happy about that. We've not had a North American team place top four, I think, since RLCS Season 1. I think that is the last time we've had a team do that, and that was when G2 won the whole thing. So that's pretty sweet. I'm digging that a lot.
Yeah.
So hopefully North America can keep that going, but NRG let me down really bad. I was really struggling with that. I think Fireburner and Jacob stay together, but I honestly think that Garrett finds another team. What would be actually extremely interesting, I know Squishy and Garrett are very good friends, and I am actually curious to see how Cloud9 is going to handle Gimmick throwing the game away versus Method, because I think he's the reason that Cloud9 lost. He gave up a lot of goals for being such a defensive guy. I think Garrett can play that role, and they'd have a lot of star power on Cloud9 if Garrett ends up joining.
Oh, yeah.
But that's all kind of conjecture. That's just kind of how I see the potential maybe working out. Only time will tell, but hopefully NRG NA keeps it up. I was actually really happy to see them performing so well. G2 finally living up to some hype that they and their fans have placed on themselves. I'm having trouble speaking. Words are hard. So hopefully that all can keep going. I'm really surprised that Ghost was able to perform as well as they did. I don't know that that's something that will continue. I think they're a team that you have somebody like Zane Jackie who's shown in the past. He's just amazing at LAN. He's one of those clutch performers that's just going to show up every year at LAN. He's kind of your sad junior type guy.
Yep.
But PSG for the European side, pretty young team. When your all-star striker's 15 years old, you're going to drop some games. You're going to drop some tournaments due to kind of not having so much of like that clutch factor and just not having that experience. That's going to be the way it's going to go, and I think you got to be okay with that. But I think Bluey is worth that.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's only going to get better, and he's only going to continue to just be a stronger player.
100%. And it'll be interesting, just like any good sport, as it evolves, kind of like the player trades, how the teams end up folding out, and a lot of that stuff. I mean, it's probably lost on some folks, but it's going to be one of those things where teams are going to, they're going to figure out, they're going to look at the tape, if you will. They're going to watch the matches back. They're going to see what was good, like that pass. They're going to see what didn't work, and they're going to make the adjustments, and they'll swap the rosters up as they see fit to give them a better chance to win the top prize of $55,000 for a team, which is not a bad payday of 3 days of Rocket League.
Well, I mean, the tape has to be watched because we've now had the two biggest tournaments in Rocket League history in RLCS Season 4 and the Universal Open, and the same two teams are in the finals. Method versus Gale Force, and Gale Force wins.
Yep.
I think there's a pretty clearly defined power vacuum when those two teams are not there, because right now they control the world. They control the world, much like Flipside did for a little while, and somebody's got to make some changes. I'm interested to see if Pashy sticks with a roster for more than a year. I would love to see him perform, just not particularly on Mocket, because they're kind of a crappy organization, if I'm honest. But hopefully we can see him do well. I really like Freaky, but I don't know that he's the best option for that team. I think with somebody like Pashy, you can probably have another option there. What's Flipside going to do? Are they just going to kind of figure their stuff out, or do they need to make some changes as well? Marky doesn't seem like he is particularly bought into Rocket League right now. I think he's a guy that may contemplate straight out retirement. There's something that's got to give, and if it doesn't, Gale Force and Method is going to continue to rule the world.
Yes, very much so. And it'll, like you said, it'll be interesting. It'll also be interesting to see because obviously RLCS is over, but there are other big tournaments still going to be going on. So, it'll be interesting to see how the teams kind of unfold, how they stick together for some different tournaments that are coming up, and that kind of stuff as well. I think you'll see a lot of that stuff kind of play out over the course of that. And I'm getting some achievements here on this secondary account, which is always nice. And yeah, so like I said, I'll be interested to see like Cloud9, for instance. I think that's one of those teams that more likely than not will probably stick together and do pretty good. And again, they were my pick, so I was a little sad to see them drop down in the lower tier bracket, but I was happy to see them win really quite a few matches. I mean, they played really well to make it as far as they did, and then for them to go and to really lose to Method, it was a great series. It was a great couple of games, and they really gave away that game 5 that they had. And I would have liked to see them. I would actually like to have seen them play Gale Force. I think that would have been a really interesting series. And nothing against Method, but I think they could have given Gale Force a little bit of a run for their money, at least a little bit.
I mean, at the very least, Cloud9 would have been more rested. Just Method played a lot of games right there in a row. I think there's, pardon me, I think there's a lot of people, especially Method fans, that are kind of frustrated about the way that whole thing went down. Method played like an hour and a half straight of Rocket League while Gale Force kind of rested. Yep. And that's, not that their bodies are getting tired, but I mean, it's a lot of mental strain. And not just that, but Gale Force had a lot of time to sit and scout and say, okay, this is what Method's doing right now to Cloud9, and this is how we can stop them. This is what we need to try to do. I think, it's it's probably equal parts that and just straight up being arrested. That I think really contributed to what was a close series 1 hour, and the next hour it's a sweep. I think those are two really big aspects of that.
Absolutely. So if you're not familiar with how the whole tournament folded out, it was a double elimination tournament, which essentially means they had a lower tier bracket, they had a losers bracket, if you will, and teams at any point that they would drop out, they're essentially set up to always have to lose 2 matches in order to be completely taken out of the tournament. So essentially what ends up happening for Method is they lose to... Wow, I was not paying attention. I was looking at the screen. So they play PSG Esports, if I'm not mistaken. They then move in to play Gale Force. They lose to Gale Force, jump down to play Cloud9, win against Cloud9, and then go back into the finals to play Gale Force again. So that's just a lot of games. That's a lot of Rocket League to play back and forth. Over and over,
and back to back to back to back,
back to back to back to back to back. And it's not like their series went, were particularly easy in any situation either, because they played quite a few games in that stretch, especially the latter half, where all the matches were best of 7, with most of them going just about to that 7th game, if not to the 7th game. So just really, really interesting. Me and you actually talked about how it's interesting that so they make it to the finals. Since Gale Force obviously doesn't have a loss, they essentially need to... Method would have to beat them in 2 back to 7 series, best of 7 series. So we're talking about the potential for they would have had to play all of those matches. Say they win the first grand final series against Gale Force, they would then have to play them in another best of 7 match.
Yeah.
Which would have just been a crazy amount of Rocket League for them to play. And, I mean, I enjoy playing this game for fun. I can't imagine the stress of playing it for all that money on that stage for all those games, like you said.
For that stretch of time.
Yeah. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, that was just salt on the wound. I think to say, you've played all this time and you have to win 2 more best of 7s. That just kind of made it all the worse, I think. And I mean, not just that, but I mean the losers bracket as a whole, it was just a death march.
Yeah,
I mean, you look at the people who were in the lower bracket, you instantly had. I know NRG didn't play well. But you had NRG, you had Cloud9, you had G2, you had PSG Esports, you had Mocket. That's insane to have to go through all of those teams. And not that any one team had to do all of that by themselves, but I mean, that's just, I think that really speaks to the quality of the competition and the players that we have in this game right now.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%. I wish I had some boost.
Well, and the other good news about all of this is now that we got some good drama from RLCS, we don't have long until our next big tourney, because E-League has actually picked up Rocket League. So we will have a televised Rocket League tournament on TBS once again. A series that we've actually talked about before in discussions about the future of Rocket League. So TBS will be playing it, and it's a $150,000 tournament here in December. So we don't have too much longer, and it's going to be an 8-team invitational. I think it's going to be worldwide. It's not going to be directed at any particular region. But an 8-team, $150,000 tournament is pretty great. I mean, when you think about the purse that we just had for the LAN here at season 4 of RLCS is $150,000.
Yep.
So we have a whole nother RLCS type of situation coming. And that's, for one, fantastic for our sport, but it's fantastic for us as fans. We have a whole nother set of this stuff coming.
Now, if only we could get fan rewards. I guess
and I got quite a few, just nothing painted.
It's sad, but it's true. It happens though. Hey, at least we get fan rewards, I guess, right? Maybe for season 5 we'll get a few more.
That's right.
You never know. Maybe we'll get some new stuff. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I just don't want any more ninjas. I got my 6th set of ninjas this weekend. And my 2nd consecutive set of unpainted Helios. So, it's not why I watch. But, man, is it frustrating to not get it.
It's not why you watch? Just kidding. I'm going to be honest.
Like I said, it's a great consolation prize.
I'm going to try not to screw this
Now,
up here.
all I need you to do is score to win this game, and then this whole thing will be complete.
Yes.
Oh, you beamed it. We're in good shape, man.
This whole talking, playing thing. I'm so bad at the drill. I'm not reading these at all good today, which is frustrating for me.
There we go. Touching it too much, and for this, I apologize.
Let's get this ball out of here. That's actually a good little touch by that guy. They don't have much boost, which scares me. Woo!
I get it.
Yes, you do. We're gonna focus here for the last minute and a half of this.
GG's. Oh, he missed the shot.
Just gonna kick this out of here real quick.
Yeah, I'm just gonna take some pressure off us for a minute.
I'd love to get some boost. Yes, please do. Ooh.
I hate my life. Oh,
That's a big touch.
I needed more. I had 10 boosts doing all that. It was ill-advised, and that's a good way to end it.
That'll wrap.
So these are the guys that told us to forfeit at the beginning of last game.
Yes.
If we play 2 games in a row. I was a little childish last game. I threw it back at them. I'm just going to throw them a GG this time. Oh, golly.
Good game well played. They're mad. They're really mad. I'd be a little mad too. I do have these cool hustle
Hey, man.
cows though.
Just don't be toxic.
Boop, boop, boop. Well, yeah, I mean they. It is what it is. Anyways, for everybody, hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Hopefully you guys got a chance to watch some of, honestly, watch some of Season 4 RLCS World Championships because it was really awesome. I'm sure that stuff's up on YouTube. If it is, we'll find it. We'll put a link in the description so you guys can check it out. Definitely recommend watching some of the later tier games. But honestly, there was just good Rocket League throughout. I mean, not many of the series. There's only, I think, 1 or 2. I'm looking at it real quick. There were 3 sweeps throughout the whole series. The rest of them are all pretty much going to the max amount of games, minus a few of the matches. So you're really going to, again, get to see some really good play. I definitely, this is just me being biased, but definitely recommend watching some of the Cloud9 games. Definitely go check out some of the crazy goals that Squishy had throughout. I think he had the most retweeted or most watched clip, which was one of this crazy off-the-ceiling catch underneath goals that he ended up scoring. It was absolutely awesome. So definitely go check it out. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. More Rocket League action coming at you. We're gonna do our best to continue our double series, and we'll just keep hanging out with you guys. So Doc, Sloth, Average Gamer guys, as always, thanks for watching. Appreciate your time and hanging out with us.